Okay, so we're going to start today. I'm going to try to get this into the shot by recreating this Italian hairdo. Um, this one's kind of a pain in the ass because I'm pretty sure it involves hair pieces, but we're going to just try doing it on Barbie's head. Should be fun, yeah? Let me square this up just a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so I've done a little prep. Um, I need to like really loosen her up. So I've done, maybe not that much. I've done 4 braids in the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta-da! Dun, 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 dun. And then underneath the hair, I did 2 braids. Dun, 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 dun. And now I'm going to braid the side back. So these 4 braids on the top, if you can see this, are these braids, and they're going to be switching places a little bit. And then there's this big braid here, and I think there's actually a 5th little braid coming out here. So we're going to try really hard to work that all in. Should be fun. Wish me luck. So the first thing I'm going to do is take all of this, because I don't want them braided into anything, and I'm going to clip this out of the way. These are alligator clips. They're some of my favorite clips. You can get those at Sally's or order them online. There's also the old-fashioned curling rod clips, curling hot roller clips. These aren't as much of my favorite, and you can kind of see why after a while. They sort of lose their thing. So this is all of the hair that I think goes back into that one big loose braid, but I still think there's a little braid in here. So I'm going to take a diagonal parting of this and braid this back to create that braid that trades with this guy at some point. This should only take me a sec, sorry. This is the fun part about this when you do this for the very first time and you decide to do it on video. Yay! Where everybody can see you. So much fun. Okay, so those are all of the tight braids, I think, that happen on this. And then this one, so I've taken a chunk, it's the rest of the diagonal from behind her ear down to that little braid there. And this one is actually quite loose. So we're going to sort of try to portray it as loose. It's a little difficult with the Barbie hair because she's just kind of not set up for this per se. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to quickly do the other side of the head. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've done the other side of the head. So I have that 6th braid here, which I've tied off, and then the side braid, which I haven't tied off, and I've done it on both sides. It's not tied off. And I'll show you why, because I'm 99.9999. I'm like the government. Sure that these then become super loose braids into here. and that all of this then gets braided up in the back here. Here's the other fun thing about this hairstyle is if you look closely at the picture, and I'll show you that again, it's also on the web group if you want to pull it up and take another close look at it. After looking at the picture several times up close, what I thought were ribbons in her hair actually I think are so that becomes a loose braid there, sorry. I think that red that you can see there is actually like a hair cap or a hair snood. Because you can see here, there's a really solid band right there. So I think this was a little cap that went around, and then all of this hair was then pinned over it. I don't have one of those, so we're just going to style the hair how I think it went, and without all the pearls and stuff in it, because it's pretty easy to wind those in. As you can see, they're just sort of wound across and dumped in her hair various ways. And then the individual pearls are probably just that. It looks like from this pearl here that they're probably wire bound and then wrapped into her hair that way. So that's a lot more complicated than I have right now. Also, it's a lot more pearls than I have right now. So now that we have all of this, I'm going to unbind Her Majesty's braids in front. And these two go like this. And these two go like this. And then I'm pretty sure they all crisscross again before they get put back into that little cap. And they're probably pinned with some of these pearls directly to that cap, would be my guesstimate on this. So these guys switch like this and come over here, and these guys switch like this. You can't see because I'm on the other side of the head. Once I get this pinned in place, I'm gonna drop it to the back of the head so that you guys can see kind of better what I'm doing here. Let me finish pinning these in place and then I'll show you. And in this case, I am using hairpins because, like I said, I'm pretty sure they used just regular pins to pin it to that cap. All right. So now we have the back of this. So most of this is going to get covered by this big braid back here. So since I have 6 chunks of hair, I'm going to braid it into those, 2 on each side. Still a 3-part braid, but now I have 2 chunks of hair on each side here going into it. And because I can't see the back of her head, there's going to be some conjuncture here on what I think they did with it and what I think looks good with it. You guys can make your own choice on this. This is one of the problems with not seeing these photos live. So these 2 small braids, I think, came up and got pinned to the head like this. And in this case, I'm going to use actual bobby pins to put these in place because I really want to anchor these. And come around here on this side, try to get the loops pretty even. And I'm pretty sure that these actually lived up under that cap we were talking about. So taking this big braid that became part of this. I am now going to wrap it around all of this and pin it in place. So I think, honestly, the most complicated part of this is probably the cap that, you know, it's always interesting when you blow photos up, what you find. I have done this for somebody's wedding, and what I got given was a very small picture of this, so I did a lot of conjuncture for that as well. And it looked great, and she was super happy with it, and we didn't need to do it exactly like that. But to be honest, until I decided that I needed to show you this on film, you guys, I didn't blow it up all the way. So we also, even though she had hair she could sit on, it was super fine. And so we used a hairpiece for her as well. So now that I have all of these extra braids and stuff, what I'm going to do is loop them up and kind of tuck them in to create this big elaborate braided piece that you see. On her head, which I am pretty sure that a lot of this got, again, tucked under that cap. I don't know why. You know, in period hair, sometimes there's not a whole lot of rhyme and reason to what they did. Trust me. In recreating some of this, some of the Viking hairstyles that I've had the great luck to recreate for friends who do Viking, some of them have just been hilarious to recreate, and some of them I have to look at again and go, what? Yeah, I don't think that's what that is, but you know, always fun. Always fun. Somewhere in all of my hair stuff, I actually have a whole mess of pearls strung up on hairpins that you can add to stuff. I have no idea where that went. It may have disappeared with the stuff I was doing for Her Majesty Syra at the time. So that's what I kind of think that looks like from the back. You can see that from the side is rather similar. These braids probably would have been pushed a little bit more forward. That's what it looks like from the top. That's what it looks like from the other side. And there you go. An actual super pretty Italian hairstyle. Again, probably the big coronet braid is a hairpiece. But again, she could have had hair down past her knees, and they did it all with her real hair. It's a hard thing with artist interpretation to get what they interpreted and why. So that's this monstrosity. Woot! Right? So that's it. Let's try to... So there's my version. There's that version. You have to picture it with pearls and stuff. Ta-da!